Welcome, marketing chefs. I've got something truly special cooking in the Omni-Channel oven today. Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live, part 3 of 3. You asked the questions about big data, customer experience, customer support, privacy, CRM, lead generation, and I'll answer your questions here today in the Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live. Up next in the Marketing Kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen, the Marketing Kitchen. Hi, I'm Ron Vining, your host of Marketing Kitchen TV. Welcome back to the second episode of Marketing Q&A Live, where I will be taking questions in real time and answering as many as I can. When it gets to be too much, we'll cut it off, and then I'll just pick up where we left off. As a reminder, please make sure to ask your questions at the @MarketingKitchenTV Twitter feed with the hashtag Q&A, and I'll answer your questions here. All right, let's take a look at the first question we have. All right, and let's see. Ivy asks, can you successfully create a digital marketing strategy by using solely PPT? How important is it to use PPT to shape your SEO strategy? I think you mean PPC. I develop most of my pitch campaigns and my training slides in PPT, which is PowerPoint. I think you mean PPC, it's all good. So can you successfully create a digital marketing strategy by solely using pay-per-click? How important is pay-per-click as part of your SEO strategy? Well, I answered this question already, Ivy. You didn't know that, but in a prior question. And pay-per-click is certainly an effective way there's two avenues that you can take with PPC. You can buy your competitors' search terms, words, keywords, etc., whatever it is that you want to call them, keywords. But the reason I'm saying search terms is because you would be buying your competitors. You would be buying what your competitors' customers, which are also potentially your customers, search preferences. And by doing so, you would be directing them away from your competitor and to you. So that's one strategy. The other strategy is, of course, you're buying the words that are most relevant to yourself. And of course, we see this happens. You type in potentially, I've not looked it up, but perhaps if you typed in iPhone 11 and the keyword for iPhone 11 drives you to a Samsung website or to a Huawei website. And that's because they bid higher for iPhone 11, because they know that since the product just came out, people are going to search for that, and they want to drive you to their site as opposed to Apple's website. Right? So that's one competitive strategy. If you are Apple and you know that your competitors are doing that and you don't want to overspend for iPhone 11 as a keyword, then you would have, before the competition knew what features or whatever you were going to have in your device, then maybe you had bid on or you had secured iPhone Pro or iPhone Pro Max. That's a mouthful. Or you would have potentially gone for tri-lens camera or widescreen photography. Or whatever the new green color is. And so there are other ways to then drive specific to there. So anyway, there's two pieces to how you could do a PPC campaign, right? So a pay-per-click campaign. Now, I want people to be clear and understand what an SEO strategy is. PPC, to me, is really more of a SEM strategy than it is an SEO strategy. Beyond, of course, now we're talking about meta tags. So if you're thinking of keywords, then you would meta tag those on your site, right? So, but that's different than bidding on a platform like Google AdWords for key search words, key terms, and that's where PPC is at. Search engine optimization is where your website, your app, your strategy, your content that resides on your site, it has all been properly tagged, properly placed, images, it's in the right code or right language. All images have, in other words, you're not utilizing. So let's say that you've got let's say that you have a header, a image header for, again, going back to the Apple example. Let's say you have a picture of iPhone 11. SEO says that you don't just have the file name of the picture for iPhone 11. What you do is you've tagged that photo in its file name, iPhone 11 blue, iPhone 11 red, iPhone 11 yellow, okay, for each image that's on there. And the reason you do that is because those become searchable, as opposed to having them just be IY for iPhone yellow, or I11B for iPhone 11 blue. You know what I mean? So in other words, you use real text for them. If you are utilizing graphics for text, that you actually then tag that image with what that text is, so that that becomes searchable. So that is SEO. And when actually PPC, pay per click, is really more so of an SEM strategy, in my opinion, than it is of an SEO strategy. Can you successfully create a digital marketing strategy by using just PPC? No, cannot. You would want to have your site or your app optimized for search. You would want to have PPC as a strategy to, again, either block competition or to ensure that you are being best searched. You want to, as part of your SEM strategy, you want to make sure that you have created value-added content and you have seeded that content across all of the channels that are most relevant to your customer. And again, content can be user-generated content. It can be produced content. It can be in the form of reviews, contents, feedback. There's so many different things. It can be an infographic, it can be a picture, it can be a white paper, it could be a blog post, it could be a meme, it could be a calculator. Think about a real estate agent or a bank that's either, again, real estate, selling property, bank offering loan, having a mortgage calculator. If you are an auto, so let's say you have a car dealership, or you're selling a boat, so you sell boats, you would also want to have a loan calculator tool, perhaps, that's downloadable on the site, so that somebody can figure out what's the best way, what's the best tip to be able to get a loan to afford that car or that boat or that house, going back to the real estate example. Or you would have an infographic that is downloadable that gives tips on how to buy a home, how to secure a loan, how to sell your home, how to finance a car, what's the best way to trade in a car. So there's a number of different avenues. These should all be part of your digital marketing strategy. All right, I hope that answers your question, Ivy. All right, going on to the next one. Tim asks, Wow, a lot of questions about PPC. Can't seem to get away from that one today. PPC data can be a major piece of a company's SEO strategy. Colleges can benefit from performing SEO audits to ensure their strategy is working. How can colleges with smaller budgets compete using SEO in such a crowded market? I've hit on that, I think, quite a bit already, Tim, in particular about how can colleges do that. Well, that would be offering, so I'll tell you how they can best. If I'm in a smaller, if I own, or I'm the president, I don't own, if I'm the president of a smaller university competing against a larger university, so especially going back to you're at UMass Boston, Massachusetts is a very crowded, all of New England, crowded with many schools. How would you differentiate yourself? I think about, well, we won't get into the politics of it, but think about UMass Amherst acquiring Mount Ida College, which now is going to be competing against UMass Boston, and then you've got Dartmouth and Lowell, and okay, anyway, just within the UMass system, that's quite crowded. Not to mention my alma mater, Suffolk University, Northeastern University, Boston College, Harvard, MIT, you name it. Then of course we've got the colleges in New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island, New York, Connecticut. So a lot of competition in this space. What would I do now that I've listed the competitors? What would I do? I would differentiate my content. So one of the things you need to always, and so a great question, Tim. I think I'm going to answer your question by talking about something else. I hope you don't mind. Here's what you need to do. Here's where marketing, and this is why marketing deserves a seat at the table. Any firm that sees marketing as a second-class citizen in a corporation is doomed to fail. Your CMO should sit right next to your CEO. Your CMO is more important to your company, and we're talking about technology right here. Your CMO is more important to your company than your CTO or your CIO. So your Chief Information Officer, your Chief Technology Officer, they might be fantastic. But guess who is the most important person in that company? That is your CMO. Why is your CMO the most important person in your company? Because he or she best understands your customer. He or she best understands the distribution channel and the messages necessary to reach that customer. So if I am the CMO of this college or university, as you're referencing here in your question, what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to differentiate my product offerings, whether that be my physical campus, whether that be my recreation programs, whether that be some type of extracurricular activity, whether that be the pricing, or even the course offerings. I would differentiate where my college or university offered niche courses that the other universities in the surrounding market do not offer, so that taking advantage of a student who's enrolled at UMass Amherst, they don't offer that course. And this is real, actually, a real scenario. But there's a number of my students that take my digital marketing, brand management, internet marketing courses at UMass Boston. Why? Because they're not offered at UMass Amherst, Dartmouth, or Lowell, or Mount Ida. They're not offered at Suffolk. They're not offered at the University of New Hampshire. And they're not offered at Boston University. And so I'm always getting emails from students from other universities saying, I would like to take your course. Could you help me petition my department to allow me to get credit? And so I never see anything on the back end from this. It'd be nice if UMass Boston gave me a bonus each time. Maybe one of you will drop a note, or maybe somebody from UMass Boston's watching. But I'm always inadvertently driving up indirectly revenue by having course differentiation and the way I set up my courses, which I know a number of people, maybe Tim, you've taken 3 times now, which is fantastic. but offering a differentiation product and approach that can't find anywhere else. So that becomes a key selling factor. So how would I do that? If I had that differentiated project, now that I'm off of the tangent there, I would utilize, obviously the university needs to make sure that their site is fully optimized. If any of you have tried to Google for something and find it on UMass Boston's website, good luck. I'm not saying that they don't have good SEO, but a lot of the things have not been the architecture. They're getting much better. But when you do a Google search, you often are not, even when you type in UMB or UMass Boston, and then the keyword that you're searching for, you don't end up at UMass Boston's website. So that's what that's what SEO is, making sure that you're thinking in the mind of the customer so that you're designing the architecture of your site in the language that your customer is going to search, and that you've tagged it properly so that it's searchable, and when somebody searches, they find you, not the competition. There's so many times where I have typed in Google search something related to UMass Boston, and I'm directed to UMass Amherst. And that can be detrimental, especially take it out of the university situation. If I search for product A and I'm brought to a competing company's website because they've done their SEO properly and my firm has not, then I've lost that sale. So anyway, I hope that that answers your question, Tim. Good question. I hope that the tangent that I went on answered it. All right, what do we have next? Jason. Okay, the role of social signals has increased in SEO performance, even if indirectly. How will social signals continue to increase, and will there be a direct relationship in the future? All right, looking at Matt's initial question there initial comment to just sort of try to give me a bit more context on what you're asking. So let's see, currently social signals are not having a huge impact on SEO. However, they will continue to grow in importance as they are integrated to all digital experiences. Yeah, so oftentimes things that happen on social they're in a separate ecosystem so that they may not directly drive the traffic back to the site. And I think it's very important that your team, your CMO or your head of social, is working with your CIO or your CTO or your SEO consultant, if you will, to ensure that the messaging is consistent. So I think about the one thing that so in the United States, one of the things that the Democratic Party is so good at is sending out the memo of what the message of the day is going to be. So you will find that, let's say it's about gun control, or well, let's talk about climate change. The term existential threat, that was obviously in a memo that was sent out by the DNC, and in the first day it came out, every single candidate, every single talking head, every single spokesperson or representative, when they're talking about climate change, said the word existential threat. Climate change is an existential threat. Now, not to get into the politics of it, but I believe that man-made climate change is actually a hoax. There is climate change, but it's not necessarily man-made. It's a natural cycle and the science behind it. Really, you got to get behind the science of things. I try to take emotion out of, I'm a marketer, so I understand how people can be manipulated in politics. And this entire climate change argument is emotional manipulation that does not deal in real hard science. So, by putting out there that this is an existential threat, then utilizing children, utilizing the earth only has X amount of years left, Okay, all right, great sales approach, great manipulation to get a message across. But where's the real hard science behind it? It's much more difficult to talk about the science than it is to utilize terms that then dominate the message. And so if you look at if you as a business owner look at your marketing the same way that the Democratic Party utilizes key messaging and blanketing that messaging across all surrogates, all candidates, etc., then you will be quite successful. And so when we talk about social signals, I hate to have interjected politics into my answer, but those are all social signals that become strong SEM tactics with then if on your website you're utilizing the same words, the same tags, then inadvertently, but intentionally, so not really inadvertently, you will be swooped up in that rising tide of search, and you will gain a benefit the results of those social signals. I think that's the best way, sort of in layman's terms anyway, to relate to how that can work without being overly technical about how social signal can work. Now I'll tell you what I've been doing, Jason. I have been for almost a year, well, just over a year and a half, not exactly two. I have been on social, been putting out the hashtag Ron Vining and Learnamis. Just prep up the next question here. And before I answer that, sorry. Okay. I have been putting out Learnamis and Ron Vining, those two hashtags. Now, why have I been doing that in every single post that I've been putting on every single social channel? Well, the company that I will be formally launching in a year's time is Learnami. And what I will be wanting people to do or engage or interact in will be called Learnamis. So kind of like tweeting, right? And what I'm doing is that when the site launches and when everyone else is doing their Learnamis, it's a secret. Then what'll happen is that all of these social signals they will all inadvertently, but yet directly, direct that swell of traffic back to my site, my campaign, my initiative. And by hashtagging my name, when I create my new website, which hopefully will launch sometime this year, then I'll be utilizing the same effect for that as well too. Anyway, it's part of a grand or larger plan, if you will, to utilize social signals to enhance my SEO and my SEM to the point where I will not need or require to invest as much money in a PPC campaign. But I certainly will invest in paid ads because I believe that paid advertising on social is more effective than pay-per-click. Just my personal opinion. All right, next question that we have up. A good one though, Jason, thank you. All right, next question I have here is from Sam. Sam asks, as a business continues to change with technology adaptation to tasks, as a business continues to change with technology, I think there's supposed to be a comma there, adaptation to tasks must occur. What are the benefits of changing to work with these new technologies? All right, as a business continues to change with technology, adaptation to tasks must occur. What are the benefits of changing to work with these new technologies? I really need a bit more context, Sam. I'm sorry, it's difficult for me to answer the question without a specific context to that. But certainly disruption in any industry, change of technology in any industry, creates anxiety, and also changing from one system to another requires retraining, requires perhaps new hardware, certainly new software, a new mode of operation, and all of that requires a sort of a learning curve. And you can go that alone, or you can hire a firm like mine, which can do nuts to bolts, where we could actually create the technology for you, we could help you launch the technology, and we could of course scale your team to match that technology. Or it doesn't have to be tech, it could be a campaign or a program or a new type of product or whatever it might be. But that's always going to be inherent in human beings when doing something new. But the key though, and you're on the right track, Sam, is that a company must make sure that they are staying up to date with the pace of change, and they are continually evolving, adapting, transforming, or else they're going to be left behind because a new player into the market or your competitors are going to be utilizing technology to scale past you. So you don't want to be caught behind. So what are the benefits of changing to work with these new technologies? Well, again, that depends on what that technology could be. So utilizing an automation tool could enable one person to be able to do some of the tasks that would take 10 people to do, let's say. Utilizing a chat bot would free up your your telesales team or your customer service team, so that they can actually be spending more time with the customer, because the chatbot directs them to an FAQ, or it answers a question for them, so that somebody that needed real one-on-one phone support didn't need that. Their time was not taken up because the FAQ or the answer the chatbot provided was enough. So those could be some examples of that. So it really does just depend upon what it is that you're asking. So if you could ask a more specific question the next time with a bit more context, it'll be easier for me to make sure that I fully address it. All right, I believe that we've covered a lot of ground here in this Marketing Kitchen TV Live. That'll do it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll pick up where we left off. I hope you found my answers useful. I hope that we can have some engagement on this channel by you offering some comments in the section below. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please like it, and please share with your friends. It will really help the channel to grow, which in turn will help me and make this a better resource for us all. Thank you for your question. If you'd like me to answer a question here on Marketing Kitchen TV, all you need to do is go to the @MarketingKitchenTV on Twitter, use the hashtag Q&A, and I will answer your questions here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, there's always fresh content simmering on our storytelling stovetop. So whatever happens in this kitchen shouldn't stay in this Marketing Kitchen. I'm Ron Vining, your host, reminding you to invite your family and friends to the next episode of Marketing Kitchen TV.